So one of the things that we see a lot with our customers is that they struggle with ADHD. Either something that they've had all their lives or something that they've recently been diagnosed with and just found out that they've been dealing with it and had no idea. Even if you don't have ADHD, even if you just have an inability to focus, I think we need to start with deciding what to focus on. And so we need to make a list of all of the things that we have going on in our lives and prioritize it. So what we coach with our Define My Day process is that you just make a master list when you're creating your goals of all the things that you have to do in a day, right? The things that you want to get accomplished down the road, the things that you have to get done today, and everything in between. And you write that all down, and then you reorder it in another list where you start from most important to least important, most impactful to least impactful. Things you really care about that are just at your core who you are, to things that don't freaking matter and you wish you never got involved with it in the first place. And everything in between. And when you're going down this list, at some point you have to make a cutoff and decide, like, I don't have time in my life to worry about any of this below this line. So I'm going to let all of that go and never even touch it. And although your brain's going to want to say, but it needs to get done, you have to consciously decide, I am not going to think about that anymore. I am not going to worry about this task, whatever it might be. Either I give it to somebody else or I just let it be, and it's not something that I care enough about because I have all these other things that are super important in my life. And these are the things that I'm going to focus on. Now, you've decided to lop off a chunk of what you have in your life to not do. These are distractions. These are time-wasting activities. These are things that just take you away from the top half of your list, or hopefully top third. Maybe you lopped off a lot, right? Now you have more time to do the things that matter. And so with this priority list, the effort then becomes working on them in order, or working on them in a fashion where you get the most important things done. And then you also get the other things that matter done in the proper order. And that's where our Define My Day process helps you out. So you have personal priorities and goals. You have professional goals and priorities. You have health goals. All of these things are intermixed in your life. And you're always having to sort through, like, what do I do next? Which step do I take next? And so our process helps you unpack that. And you're going to make mistakes, right? Everybody works on something, they go, oh man, I really should have been doing this other thing. It's normal. And so, but it's that growing the awareness of being able to make the decision on the fly, but then also make the decision before you need to do the thing so that you properly plan and make the right decisions to where to put your time and attention. And the better you get at doing it, the more efficiently you work, and you get this forward momentum and things become a lot easier. So in our process, we teach you to lop off the things that don't matter, identify those distractions that pull you away from your priorities, and then focus on your priorities and obligations too. There are certain things you can't get away from, right? There's certain obligations you have to do. And so we need to then learn how to manage them. And it's especially hard with ADHD because, you know, you're pulled in different directions. One thing looks attractive and then, you know, something else pops up and you're like, oh, and then you forget about the other thing. With our process, you write down the priorities that you want to accomplish today no matter what. And when you write that down, you're committing to yourself that you are going to do it, barring, you know, some major thing that comes up. And so I carry my book around with me everywhere. I always have it within arm's reach because when I look back down to it, I know, oh, I need to be working on this priority. And even better, I schedule it in my calendar. So on my iPhone calendar, I can see I'm working on priority number 1, whatever it is, you know, from 8:30 in the morning until 9:30 in the morning, and that's all I'm doing. And then when at 9:30 hits, I stop, unless I can work on it longer. I stop, and I go on to the next thing, or maybe I go on to some miscellaneous things, and then I go back into my priorities. I have priority number 2 scheduled for 10:30 to 11:30 or 12 o'clock until lunch. But when you go through that process of writing down the priority, writing down the tasks to get that priority started and work through that priority, and then cross off the priority when you're done, it's super gratifying. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to be distracted. It doesn't mean that something's not going to pop up, or an email's not going to come in, or a phone call, or somebody's going to walk in the room, or whatever might come in to distract you. Or you might think, oh, this looks more fun, this looks more interesting, I should go do this thing. Even now, when I'm working on priorities, sometimes I just, like, my brain doesn't want to work on it. It wants to work on something else, or not work at all. And I can do 2 things. I can, one, bring my attention back to my priority, which is a practice in mindfulness. It's bringing my attention back to that thing. Or I can choose to engage in the distraction and not get what I want, which is also important. It's also a lesson. And if your results aren't coming, right, if you're not seeing progress, and you go back and look, like, I'm not accomplishing my priorities. This was my goal, this was my timetable, this was my priority. I'm not doing my priorities. I'm not doing what I say is important to me. So yeah, that's why I'm not getting things done, right? So your observance of that helps you see the connection to when you do get things done. And it's a practice, right? We're practicing our mindful ability to focus on what matters in our lives, so we can create the lives that we want. And that's why we journal about it when we're done at the end of the day. So we can then look back and say, well, I didn't get this done because, or I did get this done and I feel great about it, and I can't wait to do the next thing tomorrow. Whatever is currently going on. And then, like, you just feel it more. You just understand the connection better. And it makes it a little bit more concrete tomorrow, a little bit more the next day. And the next thing you know, a couple of months down the road, and you're accomplishing things. You're seeing distractions for what they are. Plus, you're getting a little more confidence in saying no to certain distractions, certain obligations that people might want to place on you. And because you know the importance of your time, you know how little time you have, and you know how much effort it takes to stay on task, and you don't want to compromise that. And oh, by the way, the benefit of all of this is that you have more free time to do the relaxing things. So if you want to veg out and watch a little TV or spend some time on social media, you can do that because you got your priorities done. You didn't get sucked into a time suck with something else. And now you have free time to spend doing whatever you want with whoever you want. So that's how this process helps somebody with ADHD. I 100% think that this is the best process to deal with ADHD. It's not overly complicated. It's basically filling in this one page every day. It doesn't take a lot of time, and that's the beauty of it. There's not a lot of other things to distract you or activities to get involved in. It's just, these are the 3 things that I need to do today in the 4 major areas of my life. And these are the practices that are going to help me get a little bit more mindful and a little bit more gracious. And then that's it. Like, I've got my stuff done, or I didn't. And this is where I am now because of whatever the result of that is. So if you have ADHD and you think that this sounds appealing to you, give it a shot. And we guarantee it. You can try it for 30 days. We guarantee it that it's going to work for you. We have a self-assessment that you can use. I don't have one in front of me right now, but we have a self-assessment that helps you every week see the progress that you're making in your life. If you're at home and you don't want to buy anything, just simply do it yourself. Every week, write down the major things that you want to do this week, up to 5, maybe just 1. And every day, write down a priority that leads you towards accomplishing that bigger goal. And it might be, a health, like weight loss or getting more fit. It might be spending more time with family. It might be a project at work. It might be a project at home. Whatever this weekly goal for you is, break it into a priority chunk for the day. You might be able to complete it in one day. It might take a couple of days to get something done, but chip away at it 15 minutes, a half an hour, or maybe an hour of a priority every day to get this thing done. And that's all really that you have to do. We have other little things built into this process, but that's it. Just write it down every day, commit to yourself that you're going to do it. And after a week of doing it, what are your results, right? Did it help you focus better? I don't want a big long list every day, right? I don't want a big long to-do list. I want my priorities. We can keep to-do lists other places, right? We can keep a task list on our phone. We can do whatever. Just write down on this one important piece of paper, this is my priority to get done today. And come back to me and let me know in the comments how it worked for you. Keep moving forward. Bye.